course, always happens that way.
No, it's how it goes, right? The CEO of Larian, what was it? He like gave an interview and was like talking about using AI, and the whole internet blew up.
Yeah, so he said Divinity is using AIs to explore ideas, flesh out PowerPoint presentations, develop concept art, and write placeholder text, but insisted no AI generated content will make it into the filed game, and that, quote, everyone at the company is more or less okay with the way we're using it.
More or less.
The comments drew criticisms from players and former developers on social media, prompting him to do a follow-up post. The social media was from former artists saying, "Consider my feedback. I loved working at Larian Studios until AI. Reconsider and change your direction. Like yesterday, show your employees some respect. They're world-class. Do not need AI assistants to come up with amazing ideas." Here's my comments on the matter. No, I will not comment on my experiences. Sorry, I left 2 years ago and know nothing about what is going on there now. No, I didn't leave because of AI. I was already leaving. These days, no one has the luxury of leaving a job over this kind of thing anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant. And yeah, so yes. Oh, and then hold on, there was another follow-up post. Excuse me.
Okay.
Oh, that was from the CEO himself. His comment was, quote, "Holy fuck, guys, we're not pushing hard for or replacing concept artists with AI. We have a team of 72 artists and 23 are concept artists, and we are hiring more. The art they create is original, and I'm very proud of what they do. I asked explicitly about concept art, and I used generative AI. I answered that we use it to explore things. I didn't say we used it to develop concept art, and the artists do that, and they are indeed world-class artists. We use AI tools to explore references, just like we use Google and art books. At the very early ideation stages, we use a rough outline for composition, which we replace with original art. There is no comparison. We hired creatives for their talent, not for their ability to do what a machine suggests, but they can experiment with those tools to make their lives easier." In a separate statement to IGN, he said, "Neither releasing a game with any AI components, nor are we looking at trimming down teams to replace them with AI." He said, I understand it's a subject that invokes a lot of emotion. It's something we're constantly discussing internally through the lens of making everyone's working day better, not worse." I'm fine with this. Like, I don't, guys.
No, I think that there are AI tools that can be helpful, but I think this response is warranted, and it should always be pushed back on. You know, I think that's warranted. You know, it's tough. I think there are uses for AI that are not replacing people. I think it's not great to use AI to generate references, even though at this point with Google, like if you do search Google, like half of them are going to be AI anyway.
Yeah, well,
but still,
that's what I was about to bring up. Is like I had to search an image for the video I'm currently working on, and 90% of what I got was AI art images anyway.
Right.
So that well is already poisoned if you're gonna use Google for references.
Yeah, and it sucks. But
you know,
I think artists are probably better than most at finding the places where it's not.
Yes, probably. The thing is like there's a fine line. I actually don't consider this to be that big of a problem with this particular thing, this particular project. Just like there was a whole bunch of people freaking out at Expedition 33 for using AI placeholders during its development. You know, like I just don't fucking.
The thing is, I think this pushback needs to happen because if it's not there, they will go more. They just will.
And that's understandable. I'm very curious to see where the line ends up actually being set at. Is what I'm curious about. Because yeah, if you give an inch, they take a mile, is the old saying, right?
Yep. And I think with AAA, I think that line will get pushed a lot farther.
Oh yes, absolutely. Larian, everyone has to remember, Larian is an independent AA studio.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, biggest fucking game in the world, but like prior to that game, like they were a double A studio.
Right.
The Expedition 33 team used it for some placeholder assets. One snuck into the game. They ended up going back and deleting it, apologizing, all that good stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I think that AI is obviously here to stay.
It is. It's
I
about the
think
people who use it and what they use it for.
right, and I think that you see these very violent reactions to it. You know, and this is obviously a very human reaction. You know, it's you saw this during the industrial era when like jobs were being taken, right? Granted, back then it was jobs that sucked ass anyway, but it was still jobs being taken.
Yeah.
This versus jobs like this, where you know, these are actually jobs that a lot of people want, a lot of people fight over.
Right.
And you know, I think if this is a case where it's fine, I think a lot of tedious tasks, it's fine. But as you said, the concern is it goes further.
Right.
It starts being the concept art thing. It starts being the, you know, the tool that overtakes everything. You know, and there are some people who have a very hard line on this. Like I know a dude who will not play any game that use AI in any way, shape, or form.
Sure.
And calls even amazing games like Expedition 33 that used it during the ideation process AI slop. So it's you know, and that's like one of those things that yeah,
It's
you know.
there's certainly a spectrum, and it's not just all good and pure and all bad and awful, but we're in the middle of this period where AI is coming while people are treating art as entertainment and entertainment as slop at like the same value. It's been a very big problem
Yeah.
where, you know, every boycott is one trailer away from an instant purchase.
Yeah.
We are very much enslaved to franchises with characters we love. We are willing to support really awful things because of the IP that they own, you know? It's
Yeah.
and so there's this fight happening right now among artists and creatives to try and hold back because a lot of these people at the top, if they could use the AI to replace as much as possible, they would, and they would get they would get away with a lot more than I think they would.
Well, and this is a conversation that you and I have had a million times, which is I think the vast majority of people who play games and consume media, movies, music, TV, you know, video games, do not give a shit about how it's made and the people making it.
Right.
They want a good product. They do not care. I think you know, and I think that if an AI video game if an AI could make Expedition 33 entirely on its own, by putting in prompts by like two dudes, and it would turn out the exact same product, people would not give a shit.
Right.
You know, versus like, you know, people like you and I care about the artistry and how it's made and things of that nature. It's you know, it's very similar to like, you know, clothing, right? Like, you know, most people just buy a t-shirt. They don't give a shit if it's a handmade t-shirt.
Well, right,
You
and this
know,
goes back
like
to, you know, it's that it's a war. It's the war is not just a battle. It's this long-term fight that we've lost with like clothing. Like we just don't have the purchasing power to, you know, keep, you know, ethically sourcing all of our clothing. And games, you know, Battlefield is an EA game, which is now owned by, you know, Saudis and Jared Kushner and others. And it's like, I don't want to give, you know, live service transaction money through Skate to them, so I don't. But I understand people wanting to play Battlefield 6 on top of being Battlefield if you're a fan of Battlefield. On top of that, it's also like one of the best ones. It's an interesting game in that genre compared to what Call of Duty's turning out.
Yeah, and I think that like you're having that conversation with Evo right now, where like Evo is now partially owned by Saudis, and as such, Jam isn't gonna go or commentate.
Right.
Like and I feel like you have to pick and choose your battles, right? Like you can't do everything. It's fucking impossible.
Well, right.
It's
And I agree with that. And the problem becomes like, if you let up, that baseline will go low. The online conversation on the baseline, it will drop way far.
yes. Well, yes, and I think that the problem is though is like the online communication and sentiment about stuff is not like the reality of it though. Like we saw that with the Switch, right?
Mhm.
Like if you went just like off the online conversation about the Switch 2, you would assume this is going to be the worst selling console of all time.
Sure.
It's currently on pace to be the best selling console of all time for a first year. It's just that like that online sentiment isn't reality. And I think the reality of the situation with most people is they don't give a fuck.
Well, and that's the
They
thing
don't give a
is what that is, and that was what was with Switch 2 as well. The whole point of the online discussion is to try and influence public opinion. That's what it is.
yes.
And the people who were arguing against Switch 2 did not have a strong argument. The people who were arguing for against Dexit, like that was not a strong argument. I think there.
This I do think is, but it's like I also don't think it influences enough because you look at Arc Raiders, right?
Sure.
Like Arc Raiders has some AI generated stuff in the game.
Yes.
It uses AI generated voices. Now they did get actual voice actors to source that, and they gave their approval to have their stuff generated in the future. But
right, and that's more like okay, what is that contract like? And did those voice actors end up screwing other artists over by setting that precedent of use my stuff for whatever? I don't know what the scope of that is or what, but it's not.
But that's the third most popular game on Steam right at this moment.
Right. Yes.
So it's like I think that unfortunately for us terminally online folks, and some people are just know more about it and are more knowledgeable. Like
God, yeah, a lot of people are not engaging in these conversations.
Like I'm sure if I go ask the 382,000 people playing, if I were to sit down with every one of them right now, do you know that Arc Raiders uses AI generated voice acting and some AI generated NPCs?
Right.
Do you know? I'd say, oh, I'm going to be optimistic and say maybe a third of them would know.
Yeah, that is optimistic.
Like that's it's just and no one can know everything, and it's hard, man. Like it's
really hard.
And we've talked about like my girlfriend was a huge Harry Potter fan, like huge Harry Potter fan.
Yeah.
Loved it growing up. She has actual Hufflepuff robes,
right,
from like Universal, or from not from Universal, from like the store in London, and shit. Like they're like big fan, but like she refused to buy Hogwarts Legacy,
right,
because of J.K. Rowling.
Yeah,
and it's you just kind of have to pick and choose. Like it's
you do have to pick and choose. And there is this ongoing discussion online about it, and we can see the line is still being formed. And so yeah,
I'm curious, in your opinion, where is the line for you?
Where is the line for me on AI?
On AI usage in like games and whatnot.
Let's see. I don't like the idea of using it for references for concept art.
Understandable.
It's not something I've thought about too much because most of the use cases are like no, because it tends to be something like in-game product, like voice acting and stuff. Like I can see if you made a contract saying I'm going to record these base amount of voice lines and then use my voice to AI generate lines for all the different scenarios in this game, and that contract is limited to just this game, I could be into that. I think that it's tough because some of these things are like isolated things in the hands of people who understand the value of the creator, the creatives, would be fine. But it's about that long-term fight against people who need to earn more money for next quarter.
Yeah, and I think for me, I'm actually a little more okay with it than you in the ideation phase. Like, I'm actually, like, if a concept artist wants to like have AI floated ideas, I'm actually completely okay with that. Like, go nuts. You know, I think where I draw the line is when it comes to doing the actual work. Like, I do not want an AI voice acting. I do not want the actual AI concept art to make it into the game. I'm completely fine for automating tasks. Like, shit, dude. If you want to talk about automating tasks, like, I fucking have been the ultimate AI supporter in workplaces I've been at.
Sure.
You know, like, do you have any bullshit tasks I fed off to a robot?
All right. And yeah, I think there is a place where, again, if it's about, it needs to do two things. It's not replacing human beings doing work, and it's not encouraging people to push away their creativity, push away their desire to express themselves or express artistic ideas, and are just churning something out to get the game out.
Right, and I think that once again, I don't have a problem with the ideation phase because I don't see it being that much of a difference than looking at an art book or looking at a Google or just even shooting the shit with someone and being like, oh wait, I got an idea.
It's something
And I
that
think it could,
it's difficult because I remember messing around with what was it, Midjourney, like in the early AI image generation phase. And I remember one of my ideas was give me Chun-Li but in Bloodborne. And back in that time, they struggled with human beings. They looked like the actual human part looked absolutely messed up and awful. But it was this Chun-Li outfit mixed with this Bloodborne background, and it was crazy cool looking. But I'm also not someone who is an artist, and something I've seen from a lot of artists is there's a lot of expression, unique expression that comes from that first seed, and you lose a little bit. It's not, you don't lose as much when you just, I don't know, churn something out and see what comes up, and then tweak. But it's something that can be there, that can be valuable in that first little bit. But again, in terms of degrees of AI awfulness, yeah, that's a lot less than putting AI in the finished product.
Yeah, and I think that I don't know, man. I and this might just be me as a creator and as a writer. Like, I can fucking pull my ideas from pretty much anywhere.
Well, yeah.
So now it just being like, oh, it's a robot that can fucking, I can bounce it off of. Yeah, like it doesn't change much for me, but the only difference is now instead of bouncing my idea, instead of, if I were to use AI, instead of bouncing off of my girlfriend, I'm now bouncing off of an AI.
Right.
Or fucking off of Google. It's,
yeah. I've used AI for scheduling stuff because mentally I'm just a mess. There are tools that can be, helpful, but when it just comes to there's people who are creatives or as a career, this can potentially take money from them, from thousands of creators, if left to keep growing over time. And then there's the value of the human creation and self-expression itself that is already a threat to, already threatened to be lost, because we've already, before AI even happened, we have been focus testing and turning everything into bland messes, and turning our artists into people who are good at creating a bland mess. Like, look at just company logos,
Yes, I think that I think the marketing end of that has been way worse.
Yes, but it's kind of
And
where we're going in terms of just that mindset, which and that's like all kind of what half the battle is about. Is not even the AI tools themselves, but the mindset that is pushing AI and the reasons they're doing it.
Yeah, and I think, but the thing is, though, is and maybe I just have fucking more faith in humanity than I should. Uh, I think that there's always going to be artists who do want to do cool shit
Well,
and
yes,
express themselves in very unique, colorful ways, and you know, I think that the corporate overlords don't understand. Uh, in the case of the logos, just as an example, like, they're trying to appeal to all audiences, or not even appeal to all audiences, offend no audiences.
sure.
Right? Like that's the big distinction, and I think that is something we as a fucking society, especially in business, need to get over. Is just like, stop giving a shit about if you offend one person, because you're probably gonna reel in like 10 that actually dig it.
You don't
And
have
it's
to be conqueror of the world. Everyone, there are different groups. There are many, many, many different groups, and you only need
uh,
to capture one group, maybe two, to be successful as a company. But it's about,
yeah,
especially as you get bigger, it's about getting more money, all of the money. You know,
yeah. It's the what's it called? It's once you hit EA Ubisoft size, that's what it is.
yeah.
It's why EA, uh, there is no AI in Battlefield. It seems like, from what all the Steam page and everything I'm seeing is.
Mm.
But that game had 4 development teams work on it
Yes.
because they needed it to be a hit.
Yep.
Like like that's once you're that size, it's like, yeah, that's when that comes hard to say and hard to balance. And I actually have some stuff to say about that when we get to what we've been playing, because I put some time into Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it's
Right.
it's
We'll
a
get there.
weird product.
Yeah.
Also, out of curiosity, I did have Chun-Li and Bloodborne get generated during this out of curiosity.
Okay.
Let me send this to you. It actually ended up being pretty all right.
All right. I'm not going to show on the stream, but yeah, let me take a look.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, the people generation in images has gotten so much better since those early days. There you go.
Yeah.
Not as much blue. I would like a little lighter blue.
Yeah.
But yes, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It did it.
Yeah. It did it. The robot did it.
Don't give her a sword. She's got. Also, those legs aren't big enough. Sorry.
Those look pretty big, man. I don't know.
We're talking Chun-Li here. We are talking about Chun motherfucking Li.
Let me tell the robot. Hold on.
AI is fun as a toy. There's the environmental impact. They really need to figure that out.
Yeah, that's the man. Like, that's the number one thing that I look at. And I go like, that's the fucking big problem here. Is like,
Yeah.
You want to talk about it, like, yeah, there's the creative aspects, and we can go like, because there is the thought that I brought this up last week. Okay, what if it gets so good that if you are good enough with prompts, you can make exactly what you want to make as an artist?
Well, at that point,
Right.
like we're talking about down to each individual line, and like you're practically doing art. Just you're not training your hand with hand-eye coordination, and that does not bother me as much.
It still is,
it also needs to not be necessarily be trained on artists, but I think if they got to that, point.
Well, yeah, because like that's the thing that, like, I like to look ahead to where can we take technology fully, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one thing that's in my mind. I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be, because like, in the early days of Photoshop, people are like, oh, like, this shit's never going to replace real photography, and now you can't find a photographer that doesn't use Photoshop for at minimum color correction.
And it's photographers are using it. Like, it's photographers that are still employed and they're using it as a tool. That's fine. AI is a little different.
Yeah. Also, I did your wish for our toy AI test.
Oh god.
It went
there
the
needs
other
to be a middle
direction.
ground. Wait a minute. First of all, there's not even like muscle. That's like pure just fat, just kind of thighs. Good lord. Oh, I like the blue in the dress though. That's funny.
Oh Lord.
Again, fun as a toy.
All right. It's a great toy as long if only it didn't kill the environment.
That's the thing. It's the three things. It's about art is about humans expressing themselves. Two, it's about supporting people, getting our creatives food, clothing, shelter to live comfortably because they should, like everyone else. And then three, it's like, hey, this burns a ridiculous amount of resources, and that really should be a top priority, especially for the communities where these get stuck in. The data centers get stuck in.
Yeah, there's a real fight about one of those going over at USA Parkway out in Reno.
Really?
A lot of people having talks about the effects on the power bill and whatnot. And yeah, I agree. It's just that it's I'm just monitoring it so closely. I had a very interesting conversation with my grandfather about it too, where like he's like, it's just like, well, people will retaliate if it takes all these jobs, and I'm like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And it takes enough of them, like, do we go to UBI? Do we, like what is the answer there?
I mean, there are some answers that I think would work that are worth exploring, but it requires people who are interested in those answers, and everyone who is in a position of power influence is really invested in this system. Wonder why. Anyway,
that works.
yeah. Anyway, I mean, a lot of this backlash is because it's coming from Larian, who worked on Baldur's Gate 3, who, that attracted a lot of people who are of this kind of opinion. So I also think that's warranted. Whereas our creators, I don't think anyone gives a fuck. The finals, I don't think a lot of people give a fuck.
Yeah, I think that different audiences, of course.
And and then finally, I think if it gets big enough in AAA, I think people who care about artist creativity and all that will have to just stop caring about AAA games and start being about making communities around the smaller games, which is something that should happen anyway with what video games are becoming.
I think that what's going to happen, and I talked about this, where I think that eventually there's going to be a boutique brand of AAA game. It's kind of what Rockstar already is, kind of where Nintendo is headed, where this is a AAA game that is made mostly ethically outside of maybe some crunch. We worked on it for fucking ever. It's about as polished as you can possibly imagine. It's going to be $100 a copy.
Right.
But it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that that you're going to see more publisher of that ilk. I think you're also going to see people, then you're going to see the AI slot game from studios like Ubisoft. You're going to see, like I'm so curious to watch this industry going forward.
Yeah, it's a weird time right now, man. Let me tell you.
I look forward to going on here Sunday mornings and really seeing where this goes over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Next news story.
Let's